Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Brainy Coders, and today we are discussing about the three features of the Java 11. So in part 1 and part 2 I have covered some of the feature, and this part 3, this is the last part, and I am going to cover the last three features introduced in the Java 11, and we will see it about the developer's perspective, like code perspective, these enhancement. And so I have talked about here in this video where construct, and then HTTP client one, and then a nest based control. So these three things I have talked about it, and I have like this HTTP client is a huge topic in itself, so I have completed an introductory part. There you will come to know like what are the functions which are newly introduced and why does it make impact, and make this new HTTP client feature better than what Java has earlier. So let's start with the first with where construct. The next new feature in Java 11 is the where. This where is not a keyword, but it's just a construct which is introduced in Java 11, and like it does not impact any performance enhancement or any compilation, anything. It is just used for you can say making Java more towards the scripting language, towards the functional programming, or towards the interpreted language. Like that's how, like, in Angular, or you see in JavaScript, in Python, we are using where. So whenever we don't know the data type, we can just assign it to the where. So, but does that mean that Java is not going to make use of type safety anymore? No, it's not. Java is still going to take care of type safety. So how? So at when you are writing program, you are writing where, but when it's compiled and converted to the bytecode, at that time compiler remove this where with the variable and assign corresponding data type. After evaluation of the code, it assign the corresponding data type, exact data type, with this variable. So that's how this where exists till the program is written in the high level language, like in the .java file. So the developer or programmer knows this. So now let's see the example. We will get to know more about what's its advantage and disadvantage later on. So here in this example, I have created a list of employee. This employee is a class. This employee class which I have created, this custom employee class, and it has just one parameter. This is emp name. So here, while populating the list, I am just assigning first employee, second employee, third employee, fourth employee, five employee, like this name, just sample. And then what I am trying to here is I am just iterating over this list and populating the name of the employee. So earlier you might have noticed, now earlier in Java 8 what we do, we make it like employee emp, then employee list, and then print the same thing. So here what happened, instead of employee I am using where. So what's the benefit of that? Actually the first point comes to the mind, why do I use where? I know it's employee and it's very simple to write that, and it is more clear when I write employee that okay, this is the object of employee, and then I am getting some name of the employee. That is also fair, but let's think in this way. Instead of list of employee, it's going, I have a class, let's say some class. So I have object of a class from a third party library, like I make a HTTP request and then I get some response. And then in this response, I know that the object in the response is having some list of object, and that list of object is like the list of objects. So that object is again having some class, some interdependent objects, and that object is giving me some method. So it's a typical hierarchical structure. So the third party system, or some like the same in the same application, even in same module, I am I have a data structure which is very complex, and I know like in this data structure I just need to use this method, one method, and this method exists when I go over this list. So if I fetch this object like get, if I do object dot get m1, let's say get sub object 1, then get object list, and then the object of that object list have this method get name, or let's say get value. So I need to use that value, and that value is type of string. So I know only that thing. But if we talk about this in Java 8, I need to know the complete structure, because for iterating over these things or even using the stream, I need to get the data type and I need to make sure that it should not be null. While in case of Java 11, I don't need to know the data type. I just know, like, I can just use var, that object is of any data type, I don't care. But that object has some method. That's it. So Java compiler will take care of this at the backend, and we don't need to worry about this. So that's the advantage. One more advantage is, like, many times we know, like, Java classes can have multiple complex names, so very lengthy names. So sometimes it happens, like, our classes, when we are writing an enterprise application, our classes have a very lengthy names. So, like, for example, say list of employee, or for example, say simple response with these values, simple response with limited arguments. So that kind of this example, it can be very lengthy, like http response with object argument library, etc., etc. So if this is a very lengthy name, then writing it in the for loop is a tedious thing. You can also get confused over the package if there are multiple classes with same name in multiple packages, then also it's become a issue. So in those scenarios, you can just get passed by these all things. You can just remove the all complexion and your headache by just using var. So at the back end, compiler will take care of this. So that is all about for loop. I hope you understand it. So maybe you can think of it more and then try out some example in the complex situation. You will get to know more about it. Well, next, let moves to the next example. This is the array of string, simple string, which I have created this text list. So another important use of the var is in the lambda functions. That's why I just named this class as lambda var. So that is a very popular use in Java 11. So in Java 11, we even in Java 8, we in a stream we have a filter method where I can apply this. So now the problem comes, like, right now, okay, the situation which I have written, I don't need to even use var. It can work even without var, right? This lambda function. So now why do I need to use var? So, like, in case of Java, Spring, Apache, there are some libraries which provide us the annotation of @not null, @not blank. So if I need to use those kind of annotation, then I need to define type over here, the type of the object it is. So in case of Java 11, I have to define a string. The same thing comes over here, the same concept which we have talked about here. If I don't know, like in case of lambda functions, when we are iterating over it stream and using lambda function, many of the time we don't even bother what kind of object it is. We just know, okay, this object has this method, and we just write the lambda expression, right? So but now I need to provide some test cases like not null, non null. So in that case, if I do that in Java without using the data type here, that will not work. So for that I need to use var, and then I can provide here @not null, not blank, something like this, any annotation. So that will work. So that is why Java 11 introduced this one also. That is a important reason. Now the another one is, like, this variable, when we pass in a method, like a method internal scope. So now I am passing this text list into this update version method, where I am performing changes in each of the string present in this array. So let's see this method. So this update version method, you see there is a new variable version I am adding. So what I am doing, to each, and I am iterating over it, the stream, and mapping it to a new stream, s plus version. Okay. So every time I am appending every string a version string, so this version is new. So like when earlier it is Java, now it will become Java underscore new. Earlier it is Spring, now it will become Java Spring underscore new. So that's a change I am doing. Now you must have noticed that I have used here where instead of string. So the another point here is, like, when I am writing a function, I know this version exists when inside this method only. So the scope of this version is inside in this method only. I don't need to use this version outside. So I don't need to specify more data type restriction here. I don't need to apply data type restriction here, because I know it's not going to be get used outside this method. So, and even though compiler will find out, okay, what is the scope, and it can take care of the data type in that scope only. So I can just define here where, and it will be dealt simply. So that where will reduce the complexity here. You just know, okay, that this is a kind of where some variable which I am going to append to the string. And even if I created a object here, like say where obj, for example, it would have worked. So that's the advantage. Like, if I am creating some custom object here inside this method and using it in this method only, then the where will work. But there are some restriction with the where also. When this is introduced, there are some guidelines to use it. So that guidelines it, one more thing before the guidelines is, like, this where is not a keyword. If you think like int is a keyword, so you cannot use int as a variable name. What I want to say is, like, I cannot do string int is equals to sample. Let's say I cannot do this because int is already a keyword. Java find it as a keyword. Java cannot allow this as a variable name or reference name, while where can be used without any error. That means where is not a keyword. Even if I can do, even I can do where, that will also work. So it will also not give error. So that is the one thing. It's not a keyword. It's just a readability construct which is added as in Java 11, and it is replaced at the time of compilation. Even at the time of even runtime, it does not exist with the memory, like using where. There's nothing. So now the readability, like, some guidelines are like, let's say if you are using here, if you are creating a lambda function and you are using two arguments, some s1, so you cannot do like where s1 and then s1. No, if you are using where with first one, you have to use where with another one also. So that is one thing that you need to take care of it. Right now, yeah, so that is because of the method which we are using here in the filter. So if I create the proper method, it will not give me error. So the important point here is, like, if you are using two argument, so the point is, if you are using two arguments here, then you need to define where with each and every argument. So even though in the lambda function, that is the thing that you need to take care of. So either you can do it like this, you can do s1 and then you can define where s1, s2. So that is the thing you cannot do. So if you are defining two variable and one with where and one without any data type, you cannot do that. Even you cannot do that, like, if I define something in lambda function like int s1 and then where s2, that will also not work. So in case of where you have to take care of this data typing thing. And then another thing is, like here, this tag list which I have created. So this tag list, I can also define it as a where, right? And then I can pass this tag list to the method. It will work. See, it's not giving me any error. It is doable. But the ideal scenario is you should not provide any variable thing here. Also in the argument, like I have provided list where, list string. I can also write here where. No, you cannot, because at the time of argument define, your compiler needs to know like what data type value is going to come here. Then only then it can check and provide some exception if the wrong data type is shown. So that is the one thing which you should not do using where. And also it's not the ideal thing which you should do, like passing out a list, I mean variable, to a method which is defined as where. You should specify data type more clearly if you are passing it to the method. So externally variables should not be used to pass to the method. Internally it can be used in a method inside the scope only. So I hope this is clear. It's a very simple concept, this where, like not too complex. Java tried to mix up Java 11 they tried to mix up this scripting formation of more functional approach of writing program, and while keeping type safety of Java as primary concern, they tried to make some new announcement here in this feature. So the next thing which is introduced in Java 11 is HTTP client new version. Like in Java 11 they have introduced HTTP client class. So earlier it was Java 1.1, now they have introduced Java 1.2. Sorry, HTTP client 1.1 was introduced with Java 8, which is an incubation. But now in case of Java 11 they have introduced a full-fledged Java client, and there's a little more change, more enhancement which is done. So earlier if you remember, you are calling a HTTP request using Java program, then you have to create a object of URL builder, you have to use resource builder function, and then you have to create URI, and then you have to create request class, then you have to create session connection, that connection, and after establishing that connection you send the request and receive the response. Then there's HTTP response class which is which needs to be created, and then that is needs to be parsed. So these are the multiple things which you need to create. While in case of Java 11 you don't need to create any connection, you don't need to open any HTTP connection, you don't even need to create any this resource builder, URI builder, you don't need to use that to create a URL, you also don't need to uh, create this request object and then like using the response and all. So what is, everything is handled by Java H class. This is HTTP client. So this HTTP client class have different method, like composite method, like composite design pattern which we use, builder method, builder pattern. So this builder pattern has all of the classes. These are the factories. So if you do HTTP client dot new builder dot build, it will just create your client, and then this URI dot create HTTP google.com. You have passed this URI here like that. You don't need to use any builder to create URI specifically, and then you can just pass this HTTP request into new builder, passing those, and then you create build. So you just do directly HTTP dot send. You don't even need to open any connection, and you don't need to provide any configuration while creating those requests. You can just directly send the HTTP request with the URL which you have created, and then this HTTP response body handlers of string will handle the response and like convert it into the corresponding format and return you, and then you can just get the response here. So that's how it has simplified in Java 11. Instead of creating that typical method in the and opening the connection, and then you need to remember to close the connection also. So that is the simplified thing. Also, but more advancement is here, like when you have to make multiple HTTP call in asynchronous pattern, then either you need to create an executor framework, or in Java 8 you can use completable feature. So you need to take care of those HTTP call to be in a sync manner, and then combine their result so that no data is lost, everything is consistent. So you need to take care of those things, and you need extra help like executor framework or completable feature or future class you will use, so that you can just take care of asynchronous call here. While in case of this HTTP client, it has multiple methods. Like right now I just use HTTP client or set, it has multiple async method also. So HTTP, see, you have send async method. So this send async method, see, it is using completable feature. It is for wrapping up the response. So that's how you can just directly handle multi-threaded requests like multiple HTTP call in asynchronous manner also. So it's a kind of template which is enhanced. It has reduced multiple configuration which needs to be done earlier when using HTTP call. You can like, there's a lot about HTTP client to be learned, and I just want to briefly introduce this in this uh, video, and I will provide you some link for learning it more in detail in the description. Here we came to the last feature of Java 11 in case of developer perspective, so the one which can be used in code. So see, this is nest based access. So nest based access is like it's not going to be used too much in your programming, but yeah, whenever we are using reflection and you are using hierarchical structure of classes like nest based classes, so there is a outer class, then inside there is an inner class, and then inner class is accessing outer class function, or outer class is accessing inner class function, then this thing come into the picture. So as we see in Java 8, when we access some like if this parent class has some method, this is the outer method, outer public and private method, and then this has inner class, and this inner class is calling the outer method. So Java allows this to be done without even I have not created here the object of outer class, and I can access outer class private method inside this inner class. Java allowed this. But what happens in the backend is actually, like when we do this, when we call this method outer private, compiler create a bridge, a public private bridge method, which actually increase the size of the compiled class, and it requires more memory. So this bridge methods are called. So when I am calling outer private method, it's not calling exactly this outer private method, it is calling the bridge method which is created by compiler to handle this scenario. The downside of, so there's nothing wrong, even my compiler is handling that, then what's the problem with it? The problem comes when I am accessing this outer private method using reflection. So when I am accessing this outer private method using reflection, I will get the error here at runtime. So when I do this method call, like I am just using reflection here and accessing outer private method, so I am getting here exception at the runtime, because run because like you cannot access private method from another object, right? Without like in case of reflection you cannot use the bridge method, you only get the access to the exact method. So in Java 11 this is also handled, like this was a discrepancy, like I can directly call the method but using reflection I cannot call the method. So this is handled in Java 11. In Java 11, if even if you use reflection, like this outer private can be accessed directly, no issues. Even on the top of that, if you use reflection for calling this outer private method, this will also work. So that is the enhancement which is added by Java 11 for this nest based access. So the bridge method is now removed, and Java is handling these all things by itself in the compiler, modifying the class accessibles. Again, you can find more details on it in deep. I will add the links in the description. So that's all about the 3 features which we have talked in this video, and like with this we have completed all of the features like new enhancement in Java 11 which developer or programmer can use while coding using Java 11. So this is the last part 3. I have added link of part 1 and part 2 in the description, and another some links for the reference which you can refer for more detailed knowledge. And thank you very much. If you like the video, please like, comment, share and subscribe.